Welcome to yet another vlog. Now firstly I will say that if you're watching and you're not interested in anything paranormal or you don't believe anything's a load of rubbish and all that, that's fair enough, but this may not be for you. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to waste your time. As you may be aware, lately we're all sort of my close friends, we're all sort of on paranormal street, if you like. Graham's been up to the Hulkin Cemetery. I paid a visit the other day and lots of interesting things been happening. So this is a response about 20 times to you, Graham, in regards to when you found out you were a sensitive and experiencing different feelings and senses. Now, that's why I say, if you're not interested, move on. It'll bore you to tears. Firstly, for me, I'm not a medium. I am not a sensitive, a psychic, anything like that. So you might think, well, how do you know? What other people sense. And I've always had an interest in the unknown, in ghosts, in spirits, in paranormal stuff. You got to believe it. You either believe it or you don't. And I like to think there is something. I've captured things. There's got to be something in my mind. I've captured things myself, so that's the interest for it. I've read books. I've been part of a paranormal investigation team, which worked a lot for the BBC a few years ago. So they were a good team, knew what they were doing, and shown me and learned me a lot, and I picked up a lot myself. And I've spoke to many psychics, mediums, and sensitives, and they tell me different things and experiences and what things mean. So that's how I know the things I'm telling you are from what I've spoke to people who also are sensitive psychics or mediums. So it's not my personal, I'm no expert. It's just a passion, an interest, if you like. Anyway, I am having a few of these tonight, and they're only 4%. Crap, innit? No, good drink. I like Carlin. Off tomorrow. And I am allowed to drink in a vlog. I've had permission from WXPM himself. So going on to Graham. If you remember, we were filming one of our many films. And we were down by I think we were around the Goblin Tower, the haunted Goblin Tower. And we were just discussing, because he was there as a kid. Practically grew up in the place, there every day with his mates or whatever, and he used to see things, he used to hear things or feel things, and he'd look like that and he'd see somebody over there or whatever. And as a kid he thought, well, it's normal, they can see it as well, his mates can see it. But as it turns out, it wasn't the case. And as a kid, you've got no fear anyway. So he's grown up, as many other people have, with this sort of gift, if you like. And he was telling me different things, and I just said to him, I said, well, you're a sensitive. And he looks at me, sensitive? What are you on about? I'm not sensitive. I said, I mean, you're sensitive to the paranormal. You can sense things, you can pick things up, you've got like a sixth sense. It's like a channel which we've all got it, but it's closed on most of us. Well, it's open on you. It's and he said, "Oh right, okay." So he must have gone home or whatever, thought about it, and things started clicking in place. And he thought, bloody hell. So, come into the sensitivity part. If you have it as a gift, it's like anything. It's like me. I can play the piano and I can play the organ by ear. It was a gift. I can't read music. But if I'd have took that gift and if I'd have learned to read music and really gone for it, I could have extended that gift and, done marvellous things probably. And it's much the same in that sort of thing. If you're a medium, if you've got the gift of being a medium can see things and, actually hear and, have a conversation, so-called conversation, or, you can see things and, it's a bit of a stronger connection. But a sensitive may not be able to see things, but they can sense things. And for example now, if you go, say 100 of us walked into Holkin Cemetery, right? Now say there's spirits there, right? We don't know how if they're in person, that just we can't see them or what, but just say there's spirits there. Now we all walk in, I go in there, I can't see anything, I can't feel anything, I feel a bit weird in that place, I'm not saying, but and that's it, I'm there with my equipment and trying to get, come on, speak to me, and nothing. So somebody like Graham would go in there, and like he does, he gets these headaches, he feels hot-faced, his hands start shaking, his breath is that was very interesting, by the way, there's sort of like a shaky breath. It can be all sorts of effects on people, and that is, when you get them feelings, it's there's paranormal activity around you. It can be several, or it can be one spirit. Now generally, and this is something I think you have to learn as you go, and this is all from what I've spoke to mediums and sensitives over the years I helped this team, and what they say is you have to learn the good from the bad, because unfortunately, like on Earth, there is good and bad. And in Holkin, it's said that a pirate was either hung there, killed there, buried there, and then moved from there, or something like that. And there's a lot of strange, because it's unusual for a cemetery to be haunted, believe it or not. It's like I've worked in the funeral business, by the way, if you don't know, but if you go, everybody rushes to the Denby Mental, to the mortuary. Ooh, mortuary's haunted. Ooh. And to be honest, you would find, normally, it wouldn't be haunted. That would be the least place to be haunted, a mortuary or a cemetery. And people say, well, why is that then? Full of dead people in it. Yeah, but they've got in life, they had no connection to that place. The mortuary, they go there after they've passed, so there's no connection there. The cemetery, they go after they've passed, there's no connection there. However, if in a cemetery where they're placed and they could be there 20, 50, hundreds of years, if they cannot, what they call pass over, they're sort of trapped in this I don't know, it's an in-between. And then they could, be linked to their body in some way. And, then they're sort of going, around that cemetery, sort of tormented, if you like. They can't move on, or they don't want to move on. For whatever reason. I'm not expert in that, I'm not, too sure on that, but when you go in to a place and you start feeling, you got to be careful actually, Graham, because one of them said, especially because you do a lot of investigating on your own. Now, with having senses like that, when you went into Hulking, you felt, if I'm right, you felt it a lot stronger this time. Different senses, headache, you were warm to the face, not hot. Your breathing was affected, your chest was tight, your hands were shaking. So a lot of new senses, stronger. So that could happen again. If you went back there, it could be even stronger. So they tend to say anything that makes you feel ill, so a headache is not good, or nauseous if you feel sick, or weak, you can feel faint, shaky, and you've got to back off. If that happens and it's overwhelming, you've got to back off. So in that case, in Hulking, you would have to come out the gates. Get your bearings, get yourself together. You might feel, I can't go back in there. It's too much. It'll drain you. Otherwise, you might think, I feel okay now, I'll go back in for a bit. So you'd go back in. On your own, you see, because if you fainted or collapsed in there, the chances of somebody seeing you that day is bloody scarce, because it's not visited that often as far as we know. It's an abandoned cemetery. So if you don't feel right, it's only you can know this. If you feel, I don't feel right here, or I feel bad, it's probably a bad spirit. And they're buggers, they'll drain every bloody last thing of you, and they'll play about with you. So these mediums tell me. They make you feel sick and, all sorts of stuff. So you have to back off, or you have to say when you're there, right, you're too close, back off. You're too close, back off. If that works, that's great. If it doesn't, you have to back out. Get out of there, gather your thoughts, get yourself together, and then if you feel okay, then you only have to come out, get yourself okay, and go back in, or whatever. But you have to sort of learn a good spirit or a good sense from a bad sense. And sometimes you'll go into somewhere, you'll feel a presence, but you might feel okay with it. So that tends to be a nice spirit, if you like. But if you go in there, you feel sick or you feel faint, and they're just bang, they're in there drawing everything out of you, and you have to be careful, back off, because we don't know these things. You can sense them, but we don't know, so you've got to respect it. But it is a fact. What's going back to, if 100 people went into that cemetery, if you could imagine, none of us were sensitives or mediums, you, Graham, would stand out like a beacon. So they'd look round, say they see me, they'd say, he can't see us, he can't feel us, waste of time, and they'd carry on reading the paper. So I'd be there getting nothing, and bloody hell. If you went in, you'd be lit like a beacon, and they'd say, hang on, he can sense us, or he can see us, or whatever, and they'd be straight to you, bang, and then you'd feel all these things, and headaches, oh my God, and they're draining you. The more they can get into you, the more power they get, so they say. And like equipment, they drain batteries, some of them, electromagnetic fields, and so you would shine out like a beacon, so they would know you can sense them, so they might come over and play about with you, or some of the bad ones might come, and so they do draw off you. They know you're there, you know they're there, and then it's just a case then of learning, as I said, to realise the good from the bad and how much you can take. Your body can only take so much drainage and headaches and sickness and things. But that's it. That's what it is. They are drawing off you because they get a bit, energies and things like that. And some of them are nice, they'll draw energy off you, but that's it. But some of them, if they're dark, they'll bloody draw energy and they'll mess about with you, and evil in life and evil in bloody death. They'll try and make you ill and stuff like that. So that's what that's all about, really. So if I've waffled on, I'm sorry. That's very, very interesting. And I don't think a lot of people have got my I think I've spotted a black figure, and like that, and I haven't just looked at it and said, yeah, that's a black figure. I got a bit of sense. It just stood out at me when I was watching the video. But what made me think, really, is you got to look at it as is it a shadow? Is it a reflection? Or what? You got to look at these things first. And I seen it in the back, but as he moved the camera, it stayed. Now, if it's a reflection or something, it would go, but it didn't. It stayed. So that made me think, hang on. So I just looked into it a bit more, and I thought it was a black figure. And there's a lot of people, I can tell by the comments and by the vibes, they don't believe it. I think I'm talking rubbish, which is fair enough. I don't say it is a ghost, I'm not saying it's the black figure or grey figure, whatever it was. I'm just saying what I've seen, and it's there. You can see it. Nobody can deny it's there. It's a black shape or whatever, and it looks like it's in the area where I captured my black figure. So I was trying to see if it was that, because if he'd have caught that in the daylight, bloody hell, I'm excited here. But I don't think it's gone down that well with a lot of people. I don't think they believe it is, which is fair enough. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, But anyway, going on now. So hopefully I've explained that in some sort of way, and it's helpful, Graham. But yeah, good work there. Enjoying the investigations. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you in the next video.